Okay. Leticia, you have the floor.
Merci beaucoup. So good morning, everyone. And I think the wave of love and the wave of discussion that you started more than 2 years ago continues. And I wanted to share with you what I believe. So this I believe in the power of maneuvering in discomfort. Looking back, this lesson has been a work in progress all my life. A discomfort has often accompanied my days. Whether it was being the first one in grade school to wear braces, living in a modest neighborhood far from the private high school I attended, comparing myself to others during piano contests, or always feeling different and not quite fitting in, the discomfort was always there. Sometimes this discomfort could be debilitating, even paralyzing. However, I believe that learning to maneuver in discomfort is a powerful gift to ourselves. When we need to maneuver, it is because we feel stuck in an uncomfortable position and recognize a need to do something about it. To maneuver implies an action, however small. It is a result of a decision based on a combination of keen awareness of ourselves and of the situation, as well as faith in a new, different, better outcome. Rather than remain in a stagnant, stifling, and uncomfortable situation, we are willing to create movement that will inevitably stimulate and alter the outcome. Maneuvering in discomfort is a leap of faith. It is a discreet expression of courage. It is nascent creativity. It is movement. It is love. Maneuvering in discomfort is a gift.
That was beautiful, Leticia. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So, what are your thoughts or comments?
That was beautiful, Leticia. Thank you for sharing. I really enjoyed the reading, and the first thing that came to me with your whole essay was RD used to always say, when you feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, you've arrived at the yin yang.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Yeah. Wow, that was really right on. That was beautiful, beautiful, and inspirational and comforting. And I'd like to share it with a friend of mine who's gone through some stuff too. So I may do that when we get it. If we can get the recording someday, I'd love to share it with a friend who really needs to hear this.
I feel like what you wrote and read is so universal to all of us. And I thank you for raising my chi about it. I think about different people in my life, and basically I come to ASA and I think about the bravery it takes to be in that place, that place of transitioning toward, whatever the transition is, whether it's about time or body or whatever it is. And I just, I equivocate it with extreme bravery and bravo. That was
Mhm.
remarkable.
Mhm. Yeah.
I said discreet courage, but it's amazing that you heard extreme bravery, which is fantastic.
Well, I think it's extreme bravery in that to you, it may be incremental internally, like moving from one thing to another. But
Mhm.
when someone sees it themselves or is witness to it, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Miss
Well,
Barbara.
yeah, I really like that, Leticia. Thank you for writing that. Thank you for sharing that. I think that there's so much wisdom in there. And uh, when I was growing up, I experienced kind of like the same thing, feeling so insecure about a lot of things and comparing myself as well. As I got older, the things that challenged me, I ran away from them until eventually I faced them. Simple thing like fear of swimming, big fear of swimming. I just decided to take it on and just challenge myself and just do it. And that's kind of how I approach a lot of things in my life. Whatever challenges come, I see it as an opportunity to grow. Um, and so I really like that, appreciate it. I like what you said, and I don't know if I'm quoting you correctly, creating movement that will ultimately change the outcome of the discomfort. And I think that is really powerful. If we could recognize whatever it is, maybe I'm using the wrong word, but embrace it for what it is and do what you need to do to shift out of that uncomfortable feeling into an empowered feeling that that discomfort no longer controls you. It's not the boss of you anymore. You're the boss of it. That's the power. And that is just so wonderful. So I hope you will share that. Send it to us. I love
For
that.
sure.
That is just shift out of the darkness into the light.
Miss Lois.
I love what everyone's saying, but one thing that really strikes me, Leticia, you were so open and vulnerable, and you're showing us that we're all the same.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been in this situation at one time, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just where we are. And, you know, wisdom and, you know, camaraderie and support of being together can help us all maneuver through the discomfort. And, you know, I really love how it feels so inclusive. And anyone that may have felt alone and like off on the edges is now part of like this big hug. And, you know, you reminded me, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't even feel like I belonged in my family. And I remember telling an aunt of mine, as I got older, I had the courage to speak out. And after my father died, I thought that that would be the end of them. I never see them again because it was his cousins, but they never left. So one day I said to my aunt, I said, you know, Aunt Ethel, I'm so grateful that you didn't leave me, you know, that you didn't like go away and that you're still here. And I was so grateful I had the courage to say that to her so she could know how important she was to me. But anyway, that's what you reminded me that, yeah, we're all in it together. And if we remember that, we can maneuver anything. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was beautiful, Lois.
Lee.
Oh, I know. I'm just like feeling so much like in my heart right now. Leticia, it was so profound. And I just want to hear it again very soon because there were so many, even though it was actually fairly short, there was so much that you spoke, the words you chose that were just so profound. And as everyone else has been saying that, you know, it's all so relatable to all of us. I mean, just one of the first things that came into my mind, like a memory as you were speaking of when you were a child, I went to Catholic schooling, but I had to take the school bus with the public school kids. And as a very young, I don't know, second, third grade, and it was really, really a challenge, right? I mean, it was just so much discomfort because I was, there was maybe three of us, the odd kids out, and, being made fun of and wearing the uniform, and the beginnings of feeling such discomfort, right? And like you don't belong, which happens a lot when as a child. I mean, that just came right back to me, but I was trying to my whole life up until then think of all the things that have happened and how I have been trying to maneuver out of discomfort into our power. It's about moving out of discomfort to empowerment, right? So it was really beautiful. And how you said maneuvering out of discomfort is a leap of faith, and that I just love so much. And it reminds me of the one tarot card, the beginning, the Fool, that a quote that I've used before about the unknown is a friend you have yet to meet, but you have to take the leap of faith to move out of whatever fear you have of what you're dealing with, and just to really believe the faith that all good will be there, that unknown is actually a friend that will comfort you and support you. So it really, oh my God, there's so much to say about this. And also for me, moving from my childhood into adulthood and finding my voice, because I didn't speak up and I was very quiet, and there was a tremendous amount of discomfort in that, and a family situation, and a very difficult thing that as an adult I felt I have to start speaking up about it. So I just think of everything, it's just so fascinating going through my own journey of my life, listening to your words. So thank you so much. It was
You're
really,
welcome.
really wonderful.
Tammy, I saw your hand.
Yes, just like what everyone said. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Leticia, that was just amazing. It brings back my word of the year, courage. And yeah, just I think, we go through that discomfort every day still, but as we get older and like everyone has said, we're learning to deal with the discomfort. And like Barbara, like I used to run away from it, just run away from my problems, not deal with it, just switch everything around to not have to deal with it. And of course, that doesn't work. Always comes back. So when you learn how to deal with it too, and I think, like Lee said, or everyone said, it's empowering, and I've learned this year about more about triggers and not to react or to engage, and that also is a maneuver that empowers. I mean, it's not that I'm directly dealing with it, but I'm still dealing with it, sometimes you do have to walk away. So I guess, what the time is. And like everybody said, with the wisdom, as we get older, I just don't, want to maneuver too much through this crap, right? That comes at us. So I thank you so much. Again, we were all just, I think, flashing back to all these uncomfortable situations and how we dealt with them. And as we get older, it's just, it really does feel good to be able to maneuver, I guess, with some grace too, and not get all caught up and stressed, because the physical aspect of that too is of, the stress in a situation can just, really, really do a number on you. So, and I agree. I think Lois or everyone, like we're in this, it's such a universal thing, and we're in this together, and it's just so great. It's great to be with like-minded people, and we can share like that and be vulnerable. So thank you. Loved it.
Johan.
Thank you, Leticia, for sharing this, and thank you for being so brave to share your weak point with us. And and I think you turned your weak point into a strength because, as I think Heather said, it's easy to maneuver in comfortable situations, but you need to be very smart, and you need also to be very yeah, intelligent. I say intelligent to be able, on the one hand, to give up your weak point position and say, well, I have to change something, and I will. And you need to have a very strong inner power, and you need to be very smart to be able to turn a weak point into a strength. And what I want to say is thank you for sharing your, not hiding your weak points for us, because I know we are a family. We can talk about everything, and thank you for sharing this. And well, this is absolutely you. I'm not surprised about what you write. This is absolutely you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jochen.
Lana.
Leticia, and everybody else, you just touched something very personal in me. So I probably didn't have the most fun childhood, but I got through it, and I'm so glad that I'm definitely a better person for that. And I think what your words have said to me is also that I also need to recognize around me people that are going through it too, you know, and find a way to maybe just accept and try and help them. Maybe not accept, but maybe just like acknowledge their pain so that I can help them move on. Because I think some people can get through their childhood, you know, and think back and said, oh yeah, I did really dumb things. And I was involved in a lot of, you know, things I didn't have control over. But some people can't get through that. And I can see that, you know, going on in my family. So I think perhaps that it just kind of opened up my mind a little bit and make me more mindful. Thank you all.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Lana. Thank you,
Lana.
Wow.
Well, as Lana was speaking, I'm very, very, very touched by all of your comments, and Leticia, to share this extraordinary, powerful, and eloquent essay. And actually, I'm feeling a little bit emotional at the moment. And maybe because Lana was touching about our family and, you know, losing a cousin, even though I didn't, you know, I grew up with him working at the restaurant. But, you know, here we have new babies. You know, Barbara has a new great grandson, and I have a new nephew that just popped out, you know, last week. So it's this flow of life. So talk about feeling comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. So, and I'm really blessed to be with all of you. I'm really feeling the emotions, and and yes, you know, I talk about it, but now I have to be in it, and you know, and this is the inner power and strength to continue forward, right? But then, you know, also the other thoughts that come to mind, you know, it's this COVID. It's just really, you know, affects me. I mean, I have some possible consultations this weekend, and they want me to be there. It's right down the street, but you know, and they know my physical situation, so that's not an issue. But you know, it's in my mind. You know, do I wear a mask? Do I, you know, they're coming in for Rosh Hashanah, and so you know they're flying in from different places, and they've traveled around the world. And you know, do I go to these? You know, do I go here? And of course, they would really understand if I just do a Zoom thing, but it's not the same as physically being in the chi situation, as you know, it's physically being in the space. And it's right down 29th Street and 3rd Avenue. It's not like, I'm going, to the Bronx or to Brooklyn or whatever. But still, I have to be considerate of Heather, can she drive me? Does she want to help me? And or can I go on myself? I can literally walk down the street myself if I want to, but then I'm also observing my chi energy, to deal with all of this. So it's and then of course I would like to go to the funeral, but to see my cousins, but that's all the way up in Newton, Massachusetts, up in Boston, and that's a major drive. And of course it would be nice to see people when they're alive and not when they pass away. Then you see the cousins coming together. So it's like all of these emotions.
Grief is an important and beautiful thing. And you shouldn't hold back from your feelings. And I'm honored and happy that you feel that you can let it out to all of us. And I think it's just amazing that Leticia, who is a lioness, wrote something that touched all of us so uniquely and differently, but all about kind of the same thing, that innate sense that maybe we all have, or maybe just all of us have, or whatever it is. But you must grieve because it's important, and it's a way of honoring the person who's gone.
Thank you. Yes.
Sounds like you're maneuvering in discomfort.
Exactly.
Understand.
Well, Leticia, RD, I have to tell you that I held back, when she was, because I'm sure it stirred up all kinds of stuff, from our childhoods that were uncomfortable. And I was, very emotional about it too. So thank you for, I guess, expressing it to us and, giving me the courage to say that. I don't want to say that. I guess I was just trying to really hold it in and not, so thank you for that, because it was so touching what you wrote.
You're welcome. I think that when I say it's a gift, I think that when the emotion comes up, like when RD you were speaking, I think when it comes up, it's so liberating to just let it flow and just let it go. At time you were saying you held back, and I think we're used to holding back, but I think that when it does come up to here, I think if we can just let it out, then whether it's grief, anger, or whatever, it's less condensed. So it just goes out naturally. But the more we hold it in, the more it becomes difficult. And then it goes out all over the place and it splatters all over the place. So I think that RD, I'm really touched that you shared this with us and that you cried a little bit, because crying is important as laughter. It's, as you say, it's a balance. So if you have these tears that are coming, then that's perfect. I remember when I was burned out, we were at a restaurant, Cecilia, Martin, and I guess she was maybe 5 or 6, and she, I think I've said this before, but she told Martin, she said, "Papa, I find that Mama looks sad." And Martin said, "Well, ask Mama." And so she asked me, "Mama, are you sad?" And I said, "Yes, I'm sad right now. I feel very sad, but I feel it's stuck. And maybe in a little while I'll be better, but for now it's stuck." And she said, "Well, go to the bathroom, Mama. Go and cry in the bathroom and we'll wait for you." Just like a child, she's, we'll wait for you. And I thought, this is so cute. So I actually went to the bathroom and I was like, girl, get it out. And I couldn't get it out, but she could recognize that something's wrong. Just let it out and then it'll be fine. So I think that it's a gift when it does come up and we can release it. It's wonderful.
Well, I think it's just part of, you know, maybe it's about being a man or being, to hold in all of our emotions. Our family was not emotional or express their emotions, so to speak. So it's, and Heather said, just let it out, just let it out. So it's, it's right. Maybe the well has come to the very top for me now at this particular point in time. And your words, really touch me at a deep level, obviously. And it's a topic. It's an acupuncture needle. To literally, you know, allow all of these feelings to come out. And as Barbara was saying, the most important is to be together. Somehow being together really makes it much more I mean, for me, talk about compassion, welcoming, feeling safe, all of these, this bubble that we've created, it's very powerful. And I'm really, truly appreciative of that. And, well, it's just, life, right? I'm on this wave now, so.
Take a nice deep breath in and blow it out.
Yes.
Do it again. One more time. The best thing about it is that we are together. For me, and for some people, when it gets up here, it's uncomfortable. I can't let it out.
And it's also, I find really interesting that when we do come to that point to let it out, we're still holding it back and still holding it in. Like that's what I was saying to RD the other day. I was like, let it out, like just let it come out. So it's not all still stuck in there, but we still try to cry, but maybe still try to hold those tears back instead of just letting it flow. And the tears are wonderful. They wash away the old and allow new to come in.
Right, it's purging, right?
Purging, yeah. But why do we still feel that we have to, I guess, all the cultural or how we grew up or all the, that we're not supposed to express or let it out?
And as RD said, especially for men are not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I hear, sorry. Oh. When I, go ahead, RD.
Go ahead, Leticia.
When I hear some children wailing and crying and just letting it all out, I always stop and listen and I think, oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could cry like that, even for 2 minutes, like, just let it all out, and then it would feel really good. And I always admire that because children don't censor themselves when they hurt themselves or whatever. So I find that admirable. They just
Well, when I got the message, when my cousin Timothy called and left a message, I just knew somebody passed away. And when I literally spoke to him, that's when I started crying, but I stopped immediately because I want to be strong for him. So it's this, talk about trying to comfort each other, but at the same time, it's so difficult. And then go ahead, Sue. Yeah.
When we say we want to be strong for someone else, sometimes we're opening the door for that person to emote because we're emoting. And so it can be a very beautiful thing that we do for someone else in their grief with our own.
And I find if we hold it in or we don't let it out, it's going to come out when we least expect it. You know, it's like you bump your toe and all of a sudden it's like, "Rah!" And then you're crying for an hour. It's like, all right, it something had to come out. So
Exactly.
somehow your body will find a way to let it go when, you know, when sometimes even when you least expect it.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, actually, you remind me of that story which I wrote in my memoir, which I don't know whether I sent the final copy to all of you, but that's when my grandmother committed suicide. And in a way, I kind of held back all of those emotions. And it was just being at an architectural class. And, you know, and the teacher came up to me and said, oh, you know, Ron, you should do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden, you know, the dam just burst open. And of course, the poor teacher had no idea what I was crying about. It was like a very simple thing. It wasn't anything major. But it was interesting. I'll always remember this woman, Kathy, who was in my class. She immediately just picked me up, took me back to my dormitory. And she, I mean, she knew, you know, that I was, you know, going through some emotional thing and just whatever. Of course, I apologized to the teacher the following class, but of course, he's like left. Right, he's left in the floodwaters, you know, literally, you know, all the mud is, and what happened? But you're correct. I mean, you know, you don't know when some little incident or some, you know, trigger that would, you know, that would just open up, you know, your emotions at an inappropriate time. So, you know, it's, you know, it's, and, but I don't know, I just feel as though that we, um, being here for the last couple of years together daily have helped me to understand, you know, all these layers or these triggers or what's happening to me, to understand what's, you know, how to maneuver, talk about maneuvering, how to maneuver the discomfort and an uncomfortable situation, and trying to, you know, try to help others but help myself at the same time, you know, dealing with the health situation, going for the infusions, you know, all of this type of thing. Do I take the meds? Do I not? Do I listen to the doctors? Why don't I listen to the doctors? You know, she's laughing. She's laughing.
Oh, because we have a little incident recently that he's just not listening, but whatever.
So it's, you know, and I understand where these triggers come from, but it's still there. And, you know, how do I maneuver my car so then I don't go crashing, but, you know, I don't mind bumping a little bit, but still those bumps are not comfortable because, you know, here's my beautiful car just got scraped, or, you know, there's a big bash in there. It has to get repaired ultimately, right?
Well, Leticia, I like what you said about the kids just let it out. And when you were saying that, I was thinking about I went to my granddaughter's birthday party in Syracuse on Saturday, and her younger sister, my youngest granddaughter, I was walking towards a pavilion, and she was in a complete all out crying, wailing, like you said. And I have no idea what it was over, but within probably 20 seconds, she was done and off playing on the playground. And later on that day, I wanted to do the same thing. It's so funny you said that, because the party just went on way too long. We were held captive, and I just wanted to shout, like, for the love of God, get the show on the road. You know, I mean, we just, this is a 7-year-old birthday party, for crying out loud. But we held it in, and, you know, after we left, my girlfriend and I were just like going, oh my God. So yeah, I mean, I wonder what would have happened. You know, I was trying to say it nicely, but just like, get the show on the road. If we could only do that, like the kids do it, right?
Exactly. Well, I just want to acknowledge Ann Beth. I know she can't really speak, but you are very much part of us, and I know you're feeling all of our words and all of us being here together, and I'm so glad you're here. So I I just wanted to let you know that us water snakes, actually Dee, you and I, we're the water snakes. So that we're all in it together. All of us are in it together. Lana, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was going to say that I'm kind of in the opposite direction that Leticia and Tammy mentioned. In my case, my 89-year-old mother and my 83-year-old mother-in-law are going through the same thing, their own emotional issues, and they're crying to their grandchildren. And my children don't know what to do. My nieces and my children don't know what to do. So I think, and I have told them, why don't you just let grandma cry? Just let her cry, let it all out, because they're so vulnerable right now. And they don't have anyone to cry to because they won't cry to their own children. They don't cry in front of me. They don't cry in front of my husband. But when they see their grandchildren and they see them, living their life out, it's like, I think all these memories flood back to them, and then they just sit there and start weeping. And so it makes them uncomfortable. I said, you know what? Just don't let it, just let them cry it out. And then after 10 minutes, you can move on. So I think
Good advice.
yeah, they did ask me and I didn't know what to say other than that. People need to cry it out. I need to cry it out.
Well, actually, you just made a very good point, Lana. Somehow it seems it's easier to be distant to express our emotions rather than the people who are closest to you. And it's the same thing, doing feng shui or the doctors or all of that type of thing. It's so much easier to talk to somebody else, who's, not connected to the family or, and somehow to express that. So, well,
I think there's,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I think there's a word that I didn't put in there, but I think there's I could try to put it in, but it's gentleness. Because when you maneuver, you do it gently. You can't maneuver doing it in a rough way, because then it's not maneuvering, well, in my perception. So I think that there's a gentleness to all, to getting out of this discomfort. It's not a kick in the butt type of thing. It's an accompanying, you take yourself by the hand and you say, okay, we'll get through this. Or so it's voila.
Yeah, you could easily add that word in there somewhere.
So
I like that, gently.
So gently shall we all kind of come together and we'll do a quiet time. How about that? And just be with each other, literally be with each other.
Thank you, Leticia. That was touching, wonderful, inspirational. I really enjoyed everyone's shares as well. Thank you. And
thank you all.
Showing
thank you all. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So actually, Barbara, would you mind? I don't know. I just feel it'd be nice for you to do a little closing prayer at the end. Would you mind doing that? That would be beautiful. So I just feel like let's just be in a quiet moment, and I'll just lead us just to be in a quiet moment. I love you all so much, all of you being here together. And thank you, Dee, for sharing this beautiful picture of the waters. It's so beautiful, very appropriate. So let's just relax and breathe. And here we are, the Bells family, all here together, supporting each other, comforting each other, just being with each other, filled with words of wisdom and grace and strength. Just be breathing gently in and out. And as we all gather together in this beautiful dragon boat, just floating, floating on the cool, calm waters, the cool, calm waters of life. The mountains are in the distance giving us support. The dragon and tiger hills on each side. And we're all in this beautiful boat together, our hearts as one, and just enjoy being, being together and breathe. And just continue breathing gently. Inhale and exhale. You can see the lighthouse in the distance on the shores, and our presence together, just beaming light, sharing our love and our gratitude and our thanks. So just continue breathing gently in and out. And Barbara, could you unmute, please?
Mighty dome, may torebeluria barium, dia by suli. O my daditum, o maditito baidoban, o sia baidoli, marotio. Ni solorium, e sole dailum, ida del dio leidorium, Iai o da vai ala do tiam. I ro la vai Ul mio do di do di da diom. Pido imbara tutti aloni. Mario. God harmony. God harmony. Only I know. Only are Niru Nego Nidi Siuru Neru Eso Matielo Tulala, Dieu, Pesa Pocotilla Varicia la tumba, Monsieur Lambadi Teleli Solaba, Maisuka Podudo, Messi Cote Bailaritero Solabaridu, Messari Teleli Sola Comante, Taisola Turvelo, Maisicolo Libe di Dio Teresio te baila kuma Calelele, Messiero to the Pero Diora. God harmony, God harmony in our minds, our hearts, our souls. God harmony and deepest gratitude that we can laugh, that we can cry, that we can do both because we are human. And we are both human and divine, and we honor both aspects, all aspects of the divine beings that we are. And so it is. Oh, God harmony. Oh, we are one love.
Thank you all so much for being in our beautiful sacred space. Our hearts are all joined together. And of course, we include all the other bells who aren't here, but they are here, and all of our family, our friends, and our global community. And thank you, Leticia, for inspiring us to the next level